Cary VANCE here at the Fountain Blue in Miami Beach, One Music Ave and Radio Road with Ultra Renee. How are you?
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited that you're here. You know, I said when I saw you walk in, I almost didn't recognize you because the last time I saw you, we were reminiscing was in August of 2018, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe, no, it would have been August of 2018, unless I saw you in Amsterdam. Were you in Amsterdam that year at ADE?
Yes.
So I might have
Actually, I
seen
did.
you.
I did my Deep Sugar party in Amsterdam that year.
So it's probably that, and then the world shut down.
And then the world shut down, yeah.
But
And here we are, still cute.
now, is this a different look for you, or do you change up your looks as
You know, I just switch up. It's a girl's thing, you know.
Good.
I get bored really easy. I think it's just, my Pisces inclination.
I'm going to show you something real quick just to show you that talk about changing up. I might have to show this for the camera and embarrass myself. Hang on.
Yeah.
Ready? So just to show Ultra that I could potentially somewhat look like you.
Nah.
This was 27 years ago at the IDMAs here during Miami Music Week, where I walked out on stage. But we have similar hair there.
Yeah, I think I got a bit more volume though.
Without a doubt.
So
Well,
volume.
now I have no volume. But anyway, Ultra,
Yes.
you're here.
Yes.
You're talking about you have a big party tomorrow you're doing?
I do. My birthday party here in Miami. I traditionally have a birthday party in Miami very, very often because I love it here, I love the sun and the beautiful water and the amazing people, the food, like the whole vibe. So I always do a birthday party in Miami as well. Tomorrow it's at a place called Copo in Wynwood, Miami, which used to be number 3 Social. It's on the rooftop, so it's outdoor. Myself and Tracy Young is my guest. Be a Grammy award-winning, stunning, amazing DJ, remixer, producer, Tracy Young.
So it's really not Miami Music Week. It's Alternate Birthday Week.
I mean, pretty much.
All right, come on.
Clearly. So it's starting at 9 to 4 until 4 a.m. and we're playing back-to-back all night long. I'm spinning all night long.
And you've got an album?
Do you have a new album? My 10th album. It's called Ultra. I mean, what else do you call your 10th album?
Without a doubt.
It dropped last summer, but we are planning to re-release it with some new goodies, a deluxe version coming out in June, probably with physical, because it came out only on digital last summer. So we're putting the physical package together and reformatting it and adding some new goodies to it.
And is there a focus single that you can talk about, or do we have to wait a couple of months to find out about it?
It's one of those things where there's a lot of different vibes on it that appeal to a lot of people. It was met with great reception. I was stunned by all of the iTunes around the world placements, top 10 in Australia and UK and America. So, we're a small mom and pop shop doing it ourselves. So we've released singles off the album, but our next single coming out in April will be focused on one particular track with Tracy Young, actually, is my collaborator, called Survivor, and then Happy Feeling, which was done with Russell Smalls and Dean L.P., so Russell Smalls, formerly of Freemasons.
Yeah.
But, there's so many goodies on there, and it's really hard for me to, nail down one to say, this is the one, because they're all, my babies, and they have different energies and vibes, but they're all within the umbrella of this beautiful thing we call dance music.
That's what it's all about right now, dance music. Now, if we go back to the beginning, I've talked to so many artists. I was talking to Mark Kinchin yesterday and MK. We talk about a song that changed someone's career, or not even career, their life.
Yes.
Is it safe to say that Free changed your life?
I would say Free was definitely impactful and definitely changed things. However, the very first song that changed my life was a song that put me in this path in the first place, which was It's Over Now. Back in 1989 was the first record I ever wrote and ever sang, which ended up signed to Warner Brothers, and then a record deal for album proportions happened out of that. So that really put me on the trajectory to come to a place to create a song like Free a little later in my growth and in my story. So the bigger story, when you really look at the totality of my career now for 30 plus years, it started with just that little seed of a really underground, stripped down, bluesy house music, garage kind of trap, when house was really first burgeoning from the underground scene in New York and Chicago, small urban places around the U.S., and seeding Europe.
What was the key in the Baltimore, Washington area, right? Because you're from that area. You had the Basement Boys, you had Crystal Waters. Like, what was the key? Was there something in the water in that area that led
That way, right? There was a lot going
house music coming?
There was a lot going on. I mean, Basement Boys were doing, they were really creating history, which I don't think they get enough credit for now, in seeing how this genre has turned into, you know, the massive thing that it is globally. And that at that time, when it was still really, really underground here, they were one of the few production teams that had major label deals for 3 different artists. From myself with Warner Brothers and Crystal Waters, where she was, Mercury, I believe it was, and even with Mass Order, we're at Columbia. So it was just the energy that we had around our club, Odell's, and then Club Fantasy, and the Paradox, which was at the helm of Wayne Davis, who was like our godfather of house music there. And he really like set the template for all of us to grow. And it was like an incubator for us to kind of just like experiment. And things were, you know, things were not so specific as they are now. It wasn't such an animal. You know, it wasn't money driven or any of that. It was really about just the love of making music. And as we say, for the love of house.
So at what point in your career do you make the transition from artist to also being a DJ?
Well, for me, I think it was a natural transition because really my whole life has been transitions, and it's really been just kind of jumping in at the deep end of any creative process that I think I'm big enough to try, which started with even trying to sing a song and then, you know, and trying to write a song. Those things were firsts that I've never done before and had no experience or tutelage towards it. Like I just did it, you know, and it was really trial by fire. So it was the same thing as I grew into that, being a club kid first. As the years went by, DJing happened because of the way the industry had started to shift and change. And what was happening in my small market of Baltimore was that our scene was starting to die off. Clubs were starting to shut down. You couldn't hear the music anymore, and where you need to hear it in the way you needed to hear it. That was the scene that birthed my career. So I didn't want that to die. So the only way to really implement something without complaining is to create something yourself. So I created my club night. It was called Deep Sugar. Out of that, I started playing when I created it. It was like, okay, this is really great. You know, the first time I tried it, and then I was doing vinyl, of course. You know, the bug just bit me because I was already a club kid. I already loved music. I was already a songwriter. And it was just really a natural transition for me.
Now, we talk about a life cycle. You mentioned you started doing music in 1989.
Yep.
You know, Free, an all-time classic, which I had mentioned to you before that. That was like the one song in my career I always wish I could have promoted to radio.
Yeah.
And then I guess the opportunity came along recently because you redid it with Iconopop.
Yes, I did.
How did that come about?
Well, over time, you know, contractually, I had a re-record period. Once that re-record period was over where I couldn't, and then it was now open for me to do so, I re-recorded it and released it independently with new remixes because, you know, the vocals have been circulating around for years now, and every like would-be producer and new young DJ all making their edits in their own versions. And I think that's great. And it's been really instrumental for the lifespan of the song to stay really front and center for people. But at that time, we felt like now that I'm able to re-record it, let's do an updated version and have proper commercially available remixes and let's control the narrative ourselves. So we re-released it ourselves at that point.
Oh, great. As I mentioned, we're here at the Fontainebleau Miami Music Week. Lots of young people trying to break into the music business. This is the one week in the U.S. where the spotlight is firmly on dance music. What's one piece of advice you, Alternate, would give to an aspiring artist, writer, DJ, producer?
Well, you know, it's not one thing. It's kind of it's a multi-pronged approach. The first thing is to trust your instinct, to work harder than the average bear. You got to work hard as 2 people in order to do this. And you also have to learn how to fail up because there's constant walls you're going to be hitting. There's constant setbacks, and you can't have a soft spine about it. You've got to stiffen your spine, stiff upper lip, and you got to keep moving forward. I always tell kids, you got to keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Even when things take you down, take you back 2 steps, just keep moving. Take the hard licks, but keep moving forward. Try to put out your best product. Don't think about it just in terms of this moment and what's hot in this moment. Think about what this is going to be 20 years from now, 50 years from now, when you're long gone and maybe not doing music anymore, how this represents you. You also have to be willing in this climate to invest in yourself. You can't wait for someone to come and make your dreams happen. You've got to, you know, and the great thing about now is that there's so much information out there now about so many ways to do these things, and from writing to vocals to production to marketing and promotion, to just kind of create a little bit of energy around yourself, but then also align yourself with a team of people that get you, you know, that want to protect your art and want to help see you get further. Because that's really been my saving grace, is not just about talent and who can sing the best or who can write the best song. It's really about the team that's around you and who's supporting you and the relationships that you create with people. It's all relationships.
Well, before I let you go, and I want to thank you for coming on One Music Ave and Radio Road today, I want to do something called Cary's Quickies.
Okay.
Where I'm going to give your fans, fans that know you and future fans that don't know you yet, a chance to get a better insight into who Alternate is.
Okay.
You ready? Hot or cold?
Hot.
Fast or slow?
Yeah. I'm going to go fast.
What are we talking about?
Driving.
Driving. All right. So what's the fastest you've ever driven in a car?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe 110.
Mashed potato, baked potato, or French fries?
Neither of the above. We got to keep those carbs way low.
All right. Pool or ocean?
Definitely the ocean.
Hard or soft?
Soft.
What are we talking about?
My heart.
I like that. Before you go to sleep at night, are you reading a good book or you're watching TV?
I'm definitely not watching TV. Reading a book, maybe, but most of the time I'm trying to get my social networking out of the way before I close my eyes.
Yeah, that's all good. Reality TV or comedy?
Definitely comedy, which reality TV is pretty much comical these days.
Recreational or medicinal?
Medicinal.
Sweet, sour, or salty?
Oh, I saw her. I'm going to go with sweet.
Something breaks in your house. You fixing it or you're hiring somebody?
I'm definitely hiring somebody. I'm over that working that hard. I'm over it.
Plush or firm?
Plush.
What are we talking about?
Life.
Life. Okay,
I
great.
need all the creature comforts.
And what's the last song that Alternate has sang in the shower?
A new song that I wrote last week.
What's the name of the song so we have to, to look forward to it?
It's called Unbreakable.
There you go. And now there'll be a video taking place in a shower. Alternate, thank you so much.
Thank you, Cary. Love you, babe.